Now I can come to you. You've been praised very much, also by Wendy Sherman just now, for the constitution that was just written in Tunisia. And it was a long and very tedious and very complicated process. And I think we all acknowledge this, and this is why I'm saying Tunisia certainly has been a ray of hope in this. Unfortunately, it's the smallest of all the transitional countries, but still, it's an example. I wanted to ask you, a couple of years ago, I believe, you've been asked if you're not going to be elected, would you still stand for office? Would you still run in another election? And then you said yes, and we just have to try harder to convince people of our model. And now you've agreed to a constitution that is very liberal, that has included rights of women, minority rights, very important, and it's really a very big step forward. What would you tell skepticists who would say, in the end, the Islamists are only out there to wait for their moment to change all this? Was this a tactical move or is this a strategic thing? How long do you think will the constitution last?
I think we haven't judged Islamists by intention to condemn them priorly. We have to judge them through their deeds, what they said and what they do. I think all Tunisians are very proud now that they succeed to have a very important, very progressive constitution signed by 22 parties to 200 of 216. All fractions, all parties are agree that the constitution represents themselves. This constitution represents very important combination or good marriage between Islam and democracy, between Islam and human rights, between Islam and the universal values. But this constitution is not simple accident. It's fruit of long discussion, long dialogue, national dialogue between us and others.
And a dialogue that you insisted had to be peaceful all the time.
You know that you pay as Islamists, we pay a high price for having this constitution. We see the government not through elections, but through discussion, because without that, Tunisian people cannot have this constitution. So we pay a high price. We find ourselves obliged to choose between continue in government because we have been elected, or resign with intention, without any force to give Tunisian this constitution.
Yeah.
I think we bet on the winner horse when we give this agreement. We have this constitution.
Does this mean also that you had to make some, how would I say, that you had to pay a price also on your core beliefs, that you had to give up some of the core beliefs of the political Islam that you helped to form in order to have a constitution that would include all of Tunisia's citizens, just because the reality is different from what you wanted it to be?
I think who can follow our culture as Tunisian Islamist, he can discover that since 1981, when we established our movement, we still insist on the compatibility between Islam and democracy, between Islam and human values. And since that, until we draft this constitution, we didn't contradict ourselves. So this constitution, these beliefs, is not simple accident, but it's itinerary.
It's a development.
A long itinerary.
Thank you. Monsieur Ghannouchi, a quick question to you, because we've just been mentioning this, and I was wondering how far this would go. Would your engagement in the political process in Tunisia, Ennahda's interaction with the political process, informing the political process in Tunisia, go so far as to say, yes, what in the end we need in order to have checks and balances, in order to have better governance, is really a separation of religion and state?
The Tunisian constitution accepts, and it's very clear in this constitution, that there is a real separation. The state is neutral vis-à-vis all religion, all minorities. And the main problem now is how to practice in reality these values, because there is some extremism, some groups who couldn't accept or even understand that separation or that neutrality vis-à-vis all religion and all ideas, because we believe that the state has no to do vis-à-vis the ideologies, the ideas. State has to be neutral vis-à-vis all ideas, all ideologies, religions. So the problem is now how to implement this ideology, this constitution, and the main problem in Tunisia now who face our transition of democracy is the economy issue, because the regions where the revolution start still waiting that the revolution change positively their life, but so far they don't feel that the revolution has changed
that there has
positively.
Changed in their life positively.
So we appreciate what, for example, Qatar has done for assist Tunisia and European and Western countries. But I think if this model, if the Tunisian example, if this candle, we believe that it has to continue shine and affect positively the Arab region, we have to invest in democracy. Because the Western countries, for a long time, they invest in dictatorship regime. So it's time to invest in democracy, because the democracy is the only way to
guarantee peaceful development?
the peace in the world, and to guarantee the real economy and real justice.
2 quick comments about the MENA region. every time we...
Very quick comment.
Very quick. We speak about the MENA region. There is something to remember. There is a huge misunderstanding. And, well, I met a lot of people from European countries, from America, and they know very little about the region. Almost nobody speaks Arabic. They don't go there. The visa procedures for Arabs to come are so complex that they don't even get to meet these people, and they speak a lot about them. I read so many papers about the Arab world. So first of all, when you speak about cooperation, you have to start by at least knowing the people you want to trade with, you want to cooperate with. And the second one is, from my understanding, nobody really understood what the region went through a tremendous change, a huge change. And the Arab Spring was all about human dignity, whereas the question asked is about Islam and democracy. I think there is a problem with this focus, never-ending focus in Europe about Islam and women and whether they need to be...
It did contain 2 or 3 other issues as well.
Yes, but the results of the poll show that people still focus on Islam and democracy. I don't think the youth looking for jobs, they are asking whether they should pray or not, how they should do it. They just look for jobs. They are waiting for job offers, basically. So we defend human values on Europe, but whenever it comes to foreign policy, we do not implement them anymore. So these were just 2 very quick comments.
Thank you.
And just one very quick question. Well, you mentioned economy, governance, structural reforms on very different sectors, but what about reinforcing the South-South cooperation? Because finally, Europe is closing itself. America has shifting priorities. It's now more focused on national issues. So what about the South-South cooperation? There's Latin America, there's Asia. What are we doing with these people?
Is this
also?
a question directed specifically to one of the panelists, or
to Mr. الغنوشي maybe, because Tunisia is also concerned about the cooperation with Europe and other countries.
Thank you very much. So about the South-South cooperation, would you like to give an answer? The South-South cooperation. Would Tunisia, probably not instead, but definitely in addition to Europe, rather also work with southern states like Latin America, seek economic cooperation with, for example, Latin America?
Tunisia is linked with Europe with partnership agreement. And during the Nahda governments, this agreement has developed toward advanced partnership. So we would like that agreement will be
strengthened even.
Yes, we will be implemented and practice in reality. And when we are gathered here under the Marshall German Fund,
the German Marshall Fund, yeah.
I'm asking myself why we couldn't see such project
Marshall Plan for the region
for Tunisia, for this new democracy, which is successful story and can affect positively the relation between Islam and the West, between Islam and democracy, between Islam and women's rights, and affect the peaceful in Mediterranean, the peace in Mediterranean. People note that there isn't the same measure when they compare, for example, between what Europe, what the West have done for develop the East countries toward the democracy, and what they have done for the Arab Spring.
Unfortunately, perhaps the Arab Spring happened 2 years after the worst economic crisis hit both the United States and Europe, and that might have been a bit of an obstacle to a new Marshall Plan. There was one question here. I line you up, sir. Yeah, here. Microphone goes here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Gosh, there are so many. Number 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'll try to be brief then. My name is Kale Agassi from TÜSİAD, Turkish Business and Industry Association. Well, seen from Istanbul, from the shores of the Bosphorus, connecting Black Sea with Mediterranean or the Balkans with the Caspian, democracy is important. And it is certainly about constitution, institutions, freedoms, rule of law, but it's also more than that, social development, income disparities, education, and in the 21st century about new technologies and the way the youth has started to evolve through this new society of information, this global society of information. Therefore, well, your concept, Mr. Ganushi, of investing in democracy, I think it deserves to be elaborated a little more. And as I observed, also other panelists approved you when you said this. So, what is this investing in democracy?
That's a big, that's a very big question. Can you do it very shortly, really? What is this investing in
democracy means supporting these new experiences, which are threatened by lack of development, economic development, which is threatened by some security problems, comes also from the lack of development. So if we are eager to support the democracy in the world, especially in the Mediterranean, so we have to invest in democracy to encourage investment in these democracies, in new democracies,
but I suppose it's very difficult to grasp what exactly investing in democracy means. Perhaps this has to be translated, just a few suggestions to you, into building institutions. I mean, Tunisia was one of the places where there were unions in place. You know, enhancing their work. What do you mean do you mean by that also supporting, let's say, middle-sized companies, medium-sized companies, small and medium-sized, in order to make the economic development more stable, and then in order to enhance democracy by this, because people do see that there's a change. Would that be a correct translation?
To encourage investment in Tunisia, to encourage tourism, to implement the agreements, partnership between Tunisia and the EU countries,